If you're thinking BMW, it is impossible not to think of the 3 Series. Since 1975, it's pretty much defined the brand. The only thing is, in recent years, it's been a little bit flat. Enter this car, the 7th generation of the BMW 3 Series. Now, BMW says this one has regained some of that magic, has brought back some of that 3 Series specialness. So, let's go and find out. One of the biggest changes with this car is an all-new body, and you get that from the outside. Quite a distinctive look, much more cohesive front and rear with more detailing and more classiness to things like the lights, both front and rear. So certainly a step up from that perspective. It's also bigger, so you've got more space. Still not massive in the back. Adults aren't going to be completely happy, particularly if you've got someone like me in the front seat. But look, for a mid-size sedan, it's certainly a decent car. Presentation inside is also a big step up. They've tried some quite different stuff, a lot more metal detailing, for example, which just again raises the ambience of the whole machine. Plus, BMW has packed in the infotainment features, so a nice big 10.2-inch touchscreen in the centre, and it's controlled by iDrive, which these days does an awesome job. In terms of navigating your way around all the functions in this car, it's pretty easily done. But that's all the nitty-gritty. To some extent, it's the jewellery of the car, but really a 3 Series is about the driving experience, about how it goes about scurrying around corners and how it makes you feel in everyday driving. And the reality is this one is a massive step up. Refinement is one area that's made a big step forward. Noise in the cabin generally pretty well subdued. There's a little bit of tyre noise over the wrong surfaces, but generally it's pretty good. On top of that, the steering, the dynamics, the way it goes around corners, well, that's almost next level in terms of how they've managed to integrate it all and give it a good feeling, and that's something that's not always easy to do when you're trying to pack in all that luxury. Then there's the way it drives, and there's been a lot put into the core of this car to making sure that they've got the basics right. So it starts with some pretty innovative suspension. It's got effectively 2-stage dampers, so designed for smaller stuff like this, making the ride a little bit more comfortable, but then really coming to life once you start hooking into it and once you hit those bigger bumps. And it works. And that's what a 3 Series is about. It's got to be fun to drive. The steering is not only really fluid and quite nicely weighted, but it feeds a lot back towards you, so you've always got a sense of what's going on at ground level. Plus, in that true sports sedan way, it sends the drive to the rear wheels, so BMW always raves on about 50-50 weight distribution, so half the weight over the front wheels, half the weight over the rear. And when you start pushing on in bends, you can really feel that balance. As for the engines, well, you can pretty much take your pick. For now, there's only a couple of 4-cylinders, but cast your way into the future a couple of years and you're going to have the choice between 6 drivetrains all the way up to the potent M3. This one I'm in is the volume seller, the 330i, so you're looking at a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol. 190 kilowatts of power, that's pretty good. 400 newton meters of torque, that's really good. And it drives through an 8-speed automatic. It's a pretty slick transmission, and it does a good job of predicting what you'll want next. So not only quick changes, but also figuring out what's needed for the road ahead. So it does a really nice job of all of that. So that is the 7th generation 3 Series. Certainly a big step up in more ways than one. Obviously a lot more tech, a lot more value, and that's got huge appeal. But it also steps up the driving dynamics, the way it makes you feel when you're behind the wheel, which is really important for a car like this. We'll probably reserve final judgment until we spend more time with it, which will happen in the coming months. So stay tuned to practicalmotoring.com.au.